Welcome to Uncaged. Today we're speaking with Paul Long. Paul, it's great to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks, man. It's great to be here.
Now, Paul is the Vice President of Business Development at Ollis, Akers, and Arney. I hope I pronounced that correctly. I think I nailed it. Okay.
Nailed it.
Ollis, Akers, and Arney is an employee-owned ESOP insurance and business advisory firm. And so we'll be talking today about insurance and business advisory and really how that works for commercial opportunities in the Missouri area. Paul, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Before we get into Ollis, Akers, and Arney and what you and the team are working on, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
Sure. I started in the insurance business in 1999 as a captive farmers insurance agent, and within a year and a half, I realized that I needed more than just one company to work with, and really was going more towards the commercial end, and so moved my family back to my hometown, worked for a few different independents, started my own agency, the Paul Long Agency, and then in 2006, and then in 2018 merged into Ollis, Akers, Arney. Ollis and Company has been around for 140 years, so we merged three agencies together to be one of the largest agencies in Southwest Missouri. And so
Wow.
my focus is of course on commercial insurance, business development for the agency, and associations. So that's kind of where my path started and where it's at now.
Great. And Paul, tell me more about this Ollis, Akers, and Arney story. What a great kind of development, seeing all of these things come together and push to the next scale.
Yeah, it was kind of out of the blue. Actually, David Arney of Akers and Arney was a mentor of mine, and we met quarterly, as most people do when they find a mentor in their business. And I knew that he was merging in with Ollis Akers, or with Ollis and Company, which had been around, like I said, since 1885. And after his merger was complete, then he had me meet with Richard Ollis, and they proposed me coming in. And it wasn't something I was thinking about. I was moving forward with my own agency at the time, and it gave me more of a longevity because I really didn't have any kids that were going to come into the business. And so it was an awesome opportunity to become. Now I have 68 business partners,
Wow.
and it's kind of a cool thing. We meet quarterly and have what we call state of the agency. So we're all in it together. It's a little bit of a different business model when you're in an ESOP, the employee stock ownership plan. So everybody here, from the receptionist Kelly that's out here to Richard Ollis, the current CEO, we're all business owners here.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I want to dig a little bit deeper on the ESOP because I love that business model. But tell me a little bit more about Ollis, Akers, and Arney. You guys seem to play heavily in the commercial space. Tell me more about the types of solutions you guys deliver.
Yeah, so we kind of work on an ideal client basis. And so what we did after we merged those three agencies together, we said, okay, this is what we do really good, and this is where we're not as good. And so we kind of sold off that part of the business. So our main business is in large commercial insurance for, construction, public entity, very heavily in public entity, and manufacturing and banking. And then we also are very heavy in the benefits world. So employee benefits as far as health insurance and consulting and wellness and those kinds of things. Then we also have a business consulting division, which does HR, all types of HR services, HR consulting, HR back office. And then we have a private client division for higher end personal lines clients. So that's really our focus here at Ollis, Akers, Arney.
The topic of insurance is so much part of every annual plan that I have been part of as a business owner. We sit down and it's always looking at some of the larger line items. I think probably a lot of insurance is just kind of factored in. It's basic stuff. But then you have kind of like the bigger lines like life insurance or like health insurance. Tell me a little bit about what you're seeing in those areas these days.
Well, health insurance, of course, is big, and since the Reform Act of health insurance, everything changed. I remember when I first was selling group health insurance and things like that, I might have had 10 or 15 companies to choose from, and then that all changed around the Obamacare time, and it's actually starting to come back. We're starting to see companies come back into the market, so that's been really good. And we do a lot of property and casualties. The biggest difference with our agency is we're consultative. If when I come out to visit with you the first time, when all of us do, we say, hey, these are the services that we provide. Just like you said, it's annual planning, coming out multiple times a year, working with you, just like you do with your CPA or your lawyer or your banker. So we have a different model, and if you're not a fit for that model, then we're probably not going to be working together. And that's just, there's a different client. There's people that just I want to know what the cost was. I'm going to pay it, and I'll see you next year. And then there's others that truly want a partner and somebody that can advise them on their next moves, on things they can do within their business. So we do that across the board.
And when you think of the work you do, Paul, I mean, I would say insurance is one of these things where it's always going to be with us, right? It's a big part of our lives, and I think that the way that Ollis, Akers, and Arney approaches it is exactly how it has to be done. It's a relationship that you build with your customers, but certain topics bubble up more than others. Tell me a little bit about what are the hot topics that you guys see customers asking you guys about these days.
Well, and it's regional. So, for instance, in the Midwest here, wind and hail is a huge factor for our clients. And you get out into California, and it's the West, it's the wildfires, and then then you've got hurricanes. So it's really where you're operating as far as what's happening. We're actually in a pretty good time in the insurance industry. We're in what's called a little bit of a leveling. We've been in a hard market for about 15 years, meaning that insurance companies just have been constantly increasing their rates to overcome their loss costs. And so what we have been finding this year and had predicted from last year is that that's starting to level out. So that makes things a little bit better for our clients and for the industry as a whole. So educating people on that and helping them realize what we need to do to keep it there is the big thing with risk mitigation, loss control, those kinds of things.
Well, I mean, Paul, when you build a business like you did, and then you become part of Ollis, Akers, and Arney, and you guys are scaling this thing, and you've really dedicated a career to this space, you obviously have a passion for what you do. So tell me a little bit about what drives that passion.
I love working with people that understand what I'm doing and need my services, right? Just yesterday I was out delivering a large renewal to a client, but we've been working for about 6 months on that. So they already knew what was coming, and they treat me as a part of their business. And so that's what I want. I want to work with people, and that's what excites me. And then also the new challenges. I truthfully see the insurance, especially in the commercial and benefits area, changing towards a more of a cost-sharing model that will reward the clients. I present on this quite a bit. It's called the captive insurance model, or self-insured retentions and self-insurance and those kinds of things. And so that's really where the market is going. And so that excites me to be a part of that, because I really do see a change in the large commercial and benefits area of insurance in the next several years.
Can you take me through that a little bit so I understand exactly what that shift is?
Yeah. Well, the current insurance models, and this is pretty high level, is an insurance company charges you a premium, and then of that premium, they have so much cost in what it costs them to give you that policy, and the remainder of that is what they consider their underwriting profit. So what I'm seeing and what some options are out there for larger businesses now is a chance to start your own insurance company partially and then share in those underwriting profits and utilize those dollars throughout the year, because the insurance company takes your premium dollars, they invest them, and then at the end of the year they have whatever they've made on the investment plus or minus whatever your claims were. And so it's taking that thought pattern individually to people instead of just letting the insurance company do it. So again, just being a little bit more proactive and making your insurance a profit center instead of just a write-off or a need.
Wow. I mean, I would imagine that some of the customers that need to play in that space are probably a little bit scaled. Is this something that's good for small businesses as well as larger businesses?
See, there's actually different types of it. So yes, I mean, so I've got some plans, which is like multi-line aggregates, which will help those smaller. And whenever I say smaller, 250,000 in premium or less can start in that area, and then the larger ones can look at even a larger cost sharing. But yes, there are options out there on the benefit side and on the P&C side for both sizes of businesses.
Such an interesting idea. I must admit, I'm excited just to hear about it. Something I probably need to look into for my own businesses. But
I know a guy.
yeah, I hear there's a guy named Paul Long that I should talk to. But, tell me a little bit, I mean, as we look forward in the rest of the year and into next year, you talked about there's been this leveling, which I think is heartening for any of us that have gone through the increased pricing around health insurance over the last couple of years. But tell me a little bit about what's on the docket for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that, like you said, just seeing that progress through the remainder of the year. The 2027 projections will start coming out usually in about August. We get those, so I'm excited to see if the numbers will keep tracking down or at least leveling, and then just getting out and helping people understand this. That's a lot of what I do. I also not only just I have a pretty large book of business, but I also do a lot of speaking at conferences. We do a lot of niche selling, meaning that we've decided on some areas that we're really good at. We have companies that really want that, and so we stick with those. And so I've also developed a network of associations that we're a part of to get the word out. So I do a lot of speaking at these associations, telling just about the things that we're talking about here and trying to get the word to others, whether they're our clients or not, trying to let everyone know what's happening within the industry.
That's great. I mean, that is thought leadership, and that's kind of what we need from folks like you that really know how these things are evolving. Paul, it's been great to speak with you about all of this stuff. If someone wanted to learn more about what you and the team are working on, where's the best place to find you?
Well, we've got a website, AllisAkersArney.com. We've got a Facebook page. My LinkedIn, I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you can find me, Paul W. Long, on LinkedIn. Please send me an invite. You can see a lot of my, I do post a lot, and a lot of what I feel like is good information, trying to get some of these things out there that you and I just talked about. So,
yeah.
We're available, and I'm available by phone, so you go to one of those websites and you can find me there.
I love it. Well, I mean, I would say that insurance is one of those critical elements in any business cycle, and certainly every company out there has their annual review on all of these lovely policies. And to hear you talk about kind of this evolution of the industry is really fascinating. We've been speaking with Paul Long. He is the Vice President at Ollis, Akers, and Arney. Paul is the Vice President of Business Development there. Ollis, Akers, and Arney is an employee-owned, an ESOP, insurance and business advisory firm. Paul focuses on business development initiatives across municipalities, construction, manufacturing, and banking sectors, while also leading high-level risk management and business transformation. We've been talking to Paul really about the state of play and where things are evolving. And I think some of the heartening news here, I would say, is probably that we have this leveling happening. Paul, you can't imagine how that will make small to medium-sized business owners very happy to hear that, but also maybe some of these shifts in how companies can be thinking about working with insurance and insurance solutions. So Paul, thank you so much for coming on the show today, and we look forward to having you back.
Okay, great. Have a great day.
Cheers.